Hello everybody, welcome to this screen recording of Encountering the Other. As we identify the central claim of Encountering the Other, identify three pieces of supporting evidence that support the central claim, and explain, in your own words, how the evidence supports the central claim of Encountering the Other. Now, remember, the central claim is the main argument. So we will first identify the central claim or main argument made in Encountering the Other. And then we're going to identify three pieces of supporting evidence that support this central claim. Now, I'll give you a head start. The central claim we have in this box up here, and you see represented, the central claim sits on top and is supported by these three columns, right? And I'm giving you the central claim right here. The central claim we see at the end of part 3 of Encountering the Other. And the central claim is that we should seek dialogue and understanding with the new other. In other words, we should communicate with and seek to understand people who are different from us, or others. That's the central claim the author makes throughout this whole argument. Now that we know what the central claim is and that we found this quote that is the central claim of the argument, we will find three pieces of supporting evidence, three quotes, that the author uses as evidence to support the central claim. Now, one piece of evidence I found that I'll share with you is from back in part 2, where the author was describing how cultures are becoming increasingly hybridized and heterogeneous. Now, in our last video, I believe we went over the definitions of these words. So hybridized means different parts or different things that are put together. And heterogeneous means diverse, right? Homogeneous means all the same. Heterogeneous means diverse, right? So the author says that cultures are becoming increasingly intermixed, right? An example of this is a Korean taco, right? There's a food in Los Angeles called the Korean taco, and it's a taco that has Korean barbecue in it. Now, that is an example of hybridized culture, right? Tacos, right, are like a Mexican and Californian culture, right? And Korean barbecue is part of Korean culture. But those two cultures were hybridized to create Korean tacos. So the author says he uses this supporting evidence just to support the central claim that we should seek dialogue and understanding with others. Now, how does this evidence support this claim? Well, I'll show you. So I said the author mentions that cultures are intermixing and becoming fluid to make the case that separating ourselves from others is not an option in our age of globalization. The author opposes war and presents isolation as impossible to argue that dialogue and understanding with others are our only options. Yeah, so here's what this means. We know the central claim is that we should seek dialogue and understanding with the other, right? Well, remember, at the very start of this article, we read that when we run into a different person or a different group of people, we have three options, according to the author. We can either fight, declare war, we can isolate ourselves and ignore them, or we can enter into dialogue, communication, and understanding. Now we know from part 1 the author opposes war. The author does not, the author opposes war. And then this quote shows us that because cultures are increasingly becoming intermixed, it's not possible in our modern age to isolate ourselves from others. And therefore, this quote helps the author make the case that dialogue and understanding are our only option when we run into people different than us, because isolation is not possible given how much cultures are intermixing, and war the author opposes. That's effectively what I wrote down here. Now I'll leave it to you to find 2 pieces of supporting evidence or quotes from any part of Encountering the Other, 1, 2, or 3, that support this central claim. And then it's up to you to explain down here in your own words how this supports the claim. I've given you some sentence starters you may use. I haven't written them down here because I want you to lessen your dependence on them. I want you to use the sentence starters if you want, but I want you to get in the habit of formulating your words yourself. Now, you may use the sentence starter. This evidence demonstrates that. This quote is used to support. This fact is used in support of. These are all ways you might begin to explain down here how a quote from Encountering the Other proves or supports this central claim. All right. This claim and evidence map helps us break down this very complex article into one understandable visualization that helps us see how the author makes this one overarching claim and how this author supports his claim with evidence. All right. That's all for now. Message me with questions on Schoology. I'm excited to see what you turn in.